Is there a chance that we're about to see the start of a new dynasty of college football?
A three-peat seems fairly reasonable.
They return a lot. Carson Beck's a superstar, the next superstar quarterback. I think he's going to be unbelievable. I think he'll go to New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. I think he's that kind of good.
I care about the three-peat, the two-peat, or the one-peat. I care about complacency. And
of course, when you're talking about dynasties in college football, the first one that comes to mind is Nick Saban and Alabama, and at this point, it really already seems like Georgia has already surpassed them, kicked off Nick Saban off of the totem pole, and now it's Kirby Smart at the top of the college football world. While I do think you might want to pump the brakes on that every time it seems like Alabama is going to start to have a downward trend, they tend to come back up. As of right now, it is all about the Georgia Bulldogs. They are the first team to win back-to-back national championships in playoff format. Now, to me, Georgia's trying to do something that no one else has, and that is win 3 national championships in a row. Now, before you get on to me, I understand Minnesota did it back in the 1930s. But I mean, if you're really trying to count those, then just skip on to the next video. So, in this video, we're going to dive into Georgia and their chances of making history and legitimately becoming the next great dynasty in college football. Guys, do me one solid favor, hit that like button. It really does help the video get out there, and subscribe, join the team, join the fam. That way you don't miss any more content. College football season right around the corner, along with the NFL. So, hit that subscribe button. So when you really think about it, Georgia has always been a really good program. They've had a lot of great football teams in the past, but man, have things really turned the corner ever since Kirby Smart has become the head coach. Of course, when you look at Kirby Smart's record, it speaks for itself. He is 81-15 in his tenure as the head coach for the Georgia Bulldogs, and he is coming off back-to-back national championships. And I mean, when you're able to win, this is going to sound like a diss, and I really don't mean it to sound like that way, but when you win 2 national championships with Stetson Bennett as your quarterback, he has built one hell of a program around that quarterback. Now, with that being said, I think Stetson Bennett is very solid, and I think Stetson Bennett's got some chances to surprise some people in the NFL. Not necessarily saying he's going to be a franchise quarterback, but I think he's got a chance to have a long NFL career, even if it's as a backup. That's time for another video. Let's get back into Georgia and their chances at three-peat. The ball could not be rolling any faster for the Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, they're coming off a 15-0 season where they absolutely throttled TCU in the national championship games. They've continued to roll the ball into recruiting, and yes, Georgia, of course, have seen a lot of people go off into the NFL draft. I think they've had like 15 people drafted in this past class, but there's a lot of people just waiting for their opportunity. And of course, one of those being quarterback Carson Beck, who a lot of people feel like has a chance to be one of the next Heisman candidate type of quarterbacks. So when you're talking about Carson Beck taking over the quarterback position, probably for the Georgia Bulldogs, he's going to have an All-American tight end, Brock Bowers, and a deep receiving core to work with. And Georgia's offensive line is going to be good once again. So he's going to have all the tools around him. And once again, like Brock Bowers, to me, I think he might be the next Rob Gronkowski when he gets there to the NFL. So, I mean, Beck is finding himself in a really nice situation. Just come right in and take the reins. Another aspect of this that's really going to help out Georgia is their schedule. If we're being honest, it's honestly kind of soft. With the Bulldogs having a soft non-conference schedule after the SEC canceled Georgia's game against Oklahoma, the Bulldogs open up against UT Martin and Ball State before hosting South Carolina. It's probably without questioning that their toughest game Tennessee, and that one will be in Knoxville, so that's a big one. But of course, you got to think about Missouri did give Georgia a scare last season as the Tigers came closer than anyone in the regular season in beating Georgia. So while Georgia's got an easy schedule, they're not going to be able to just overlook people. Of course, when you win back-to-back championships, you're going to have that target painted on your back, and you're going to get the best effort out of every team. But to counteract that, I feel like Kirby Smart has a really good feel for this program, and you could hear him speak very highly as far as their mindset going into this season at the SEC Media Days. Kirby Smart made it clear that the opponent doesn't determine Georgia's mindset. It's something that is done every day internally. Kirby Smart said at SEC Media Days that as a whole, this team is going to need to be intrinsic motivation, as many of the doubters of Georgia football have been silenced by the program's back-to-back championship seasons. They're going to have to find a way to dig in deep and to stay motivated, not be complacent, and find ways to become that one of the most historical programs in all of college football. It's about their own self-motivation. It's about coming into work every single day. It's about grinding, and it's about competing against each other. And when you think about that, Georgia's, when they're competing against each other, that's iron and sharpen iron, and they are competing with other 5 stars and 4 stars. I mean, Georgia's 2s could beat a lot of other teams' 1s if we're being truthfully honest. Coming into this new season, Georgia has 16 players that have already earned preseason All-SEC honors, including 11 first-team selections. But of course, how this group of players respond to one another in adversity times will remain to be seen. But you cannot just sit there and say, well, Georgia graduated all these people, or they've had all these people drafted. Once again, there's a lot of people coming in with a lot of hype, and they're just waiting for their opportunity. So now to the odds that Georgia can actually run the table once again and win their 3rd consecutive national championship. What does the media and the sports bettors think about this? They're kind of a heavy favorite. Georgia is number 1 in the 2023-2024 national championship odds. It's not even close. Georgia comes in at a plus 225. Second is Alabama at plus 600. Ohio State is tied with Alabama at plus 600. And then Michigan, number 4 at plus 1,000. So a lot of people are already out there saying they don't care if it's 3 Peat, and they would become the first team to ever do it since 1930. That's where the money lies. That is where people are laying their bet. And at right now, yes, there's some pretty good parity, I think, across the college football land. I think NIL is straightening a lot of things out with that. While it is still very murky waters in the NIL land, Georgia is still on top. And at this point, the way they have not shown any signs of slowing down, it would be hard not to bet on Georgia again. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Are we potentially seeing the start of the greatest dynasty ever? Stay humble, stay kind. Peace.